All right, let's dive into something really fun today, shall we? British slang. We're going beyond the textbook this time. Now, if you're tuning in, you're probably at what, a C1 or C2 level, which means you're ready to take your English from, textbook to the real deal, fluent, natural, and honestly, nothing does that better than mastering slang.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. See, slang, it often gets ignored, even by advanced learners. They conquer the grammar, build up this massive vocabulary, but then they kind of shy away from the very words and phrases that could make them sound like a native.
It's like you've got all the ingredients for this amazing dish, right? But you forget the seasoning. You've got the substance, but it needs that flavor.
That's spot on. Slang is that spice. It brings language to life. It's not just words. It's about connecting with the culture, the humor, those everyday chats. It's about sounding less like a textbook, more like you're in a pub chatting with friends.
I love that analogy. So it's more than just memorizing funny words. It's about really getting the culture.
Absolutely. Think about it. When you use slang right, you're saying, hey, I'm in the loop. I get it. It builds a connection you just can't get with formal language.
That's so true. I bet not using slang could even cause misunderstandings or make you seem distant.
You're right. Imagine someone telling you about this amazing thing that happened. If you say, all formal, oh, that's interesting. Gets a bit cold, isn't it? But say, blimey, that's gobsmacking. Now you're sharing their excitement.
Gobsmacked. Now, that's a word you don't hear every day. I have to say, I love how it sounds. It's so descriptive.
And that's what's brilliant about slang. It brings this energy, this color. Gobsmack isn't just surprise, it's jaw-dropping, eyes wide, the whole shebang.
It's like you're seeing their reaction, even if it's just a story.
Exactly. And that's the power of slang done well. It elevates you from describing to storytelling, really painting a picture.
So gobsmacked, utter astonishment. Nailed it.
Right. Shall we move on to another gem? One that's very British, shall we say.
Okay, so next up we've got chuffed. And this one, I don't know, it feels like a very specific kind of happy, right?
You're right on the money. Chuffed. It's not your average happy. It's that quiet satisfaction, pride almost, but understated. Very British, really.
Yeah, I get you. It's not something you brag about. More like a quiet feeling of, I did that.
Exactly. Imagine you've just finished this big project at work, right? You put in the hours, you're proud, but you don't want to seem arrogant. How would you tell a colleague about it, but with that quiet satisfaction?
You could say, I'm pretty chuffed with how the project turned out. It's like, you're pleased, but not overdoing it.
Exactly. You've got it. It's that self-deprecating humor, even when you're proud. A Brit won't boast about acing a test. They'll say they're chuffed with a little twinkle in their eye.
That's a good point. It's like the word itself has got that culture built in, the humility, the humor. You wouldn't use chuffed for winning the lottery, would you? Too big.
You're spot on. Chuffed is for those smaller wins, personal ones. It's achieving something and acknowledging it without making a big deal.
Very British. I'm seeing how these little differences in how you say things, they really show you the culture, huh?
It's like a secret code you're cracking, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not just hearing the words, but the how and the why.
Absolutely. So we've done chuffed, that understated kind of happy. Ready for our last word?
Let's do it. This one's a bit mischievous. Let's talk about skeeve.
Skeeve. Now, this is a word after my own heart. When you said that, it reminded me of uni. Let's just say I might have skeeved a lecture or two.
I think we've all been there. Sunny afternoon, boring lecture. Tough choice.
Right. But with skeeve, there's this element of, I don't know, cunning. Like you're not just skipping, you're cleverly getting out of it.
Absolutely. It's playful, a bit conspiratorial even, like you're sharing a secret, rebelling against the boring stuff.
It's like that little thrill you get, getting away with something, even if it's just leaving work early or forgetting a meeting you didn't fancy.
Exactly. And saying skiff instead of just skip or avoid.
Yeah.
It adds that extra layer of, mischief, humor, like you're in on the joke.
You know what's interesting? All three of these words, gobsmacked, chuffed, skeeve, they tell us something about British culture, don't they? Like hidden clues to how they communicate.
I could agree more. That's why slang is so important for advanced learners. You're not just learning words. You're understanding the culture itself at its core.
It's like watching a travel show versus actually going there experiencing it. Slang throws you right in a way textbooks never could.
Exactly. And when you start using these words, these phrases in your own conversations, you'll see your interactions with Brits, they become deeper, more natural, more fun.
It's like you're not just speaking the language anymore, you're speaking the culture itself.
Precisely. So to everyone listening, if you want to really get British English, don't shy away from slang. Listen for it, try it out yourself, even if it feels weird at first. The more you do it, the more natural it'll become.
Like anything, practice makes perfect, right? And who knows, you might even surprise yourself how much you enjoy adding a bit of British slang to your own vocabulary.
Absolutely. It's all part of the journey, and it's a journey full of surprises, humor, those aha moments
Yeah.
that make it all worthwhile.
Well said. Now, before I wrap things up, I want to leave you with this. We just dipped our toes into the world of British slang with gobsmacked, chuffed, and skeeve. What other slang words have you come across? Anything that made you curious, or maybe you just didn't get it? Share them with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and maybe even do a deep dive on some of them in the future. Until then, happy slanging.